I laid the dick down proper, it's a new day. Who ordered expensive lobster and souffle? Now that'll be me. Had to pull up in that CP3. Now do you love me, Lil' Key? Shot town to New Jersey, we gon' pull up. Hell yeah, I got the hook up. Anytime that you need me, we gon' pull up. Damn right, I got the hook up. And saying you gotta act brand new, nah, I can't stand you. Had to bring you round just to show what the fam do. No texts, no calls, no reasons to be involved. Young John Wall taking what's give it and get it off. Come on.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when you playing, no, I had to shout
it.
Days I'm in the hood like what it is. I might just slide up on you like what up, bitch. Cause you know I like to play with you. Come spend the day with you, come kick it, seeing what it do. You feeling comfortable, I make the move. But now it's different though, I guess it's cool. You wasn't shy about my love, remember after school the days when I picked you up. So now you fucked around and changed, almost messed it up. See, I ain't changed, baby, trying to catch a plane with you. Came back around to show you that I made for you. And here you go with the same old song on your weekend shit. I might just wish I never met her like Call Tom is, but I ain't tripping no. Stay up on the grind, we gon' get some dough. And you got that good ass brain, I had to let you know. I really wanna let you know. So tell me where you wanna go and what you wanna know. Whoa. What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when
about
you playing, no, I had to shout it. So you know I'm about it. I can tell. What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when you playing, no, I had to shout it.
Yeah. She be getting her hair done Tuesday.
Where you going?
Feet up, relaxing, sipping that Douce. If this was 2K shit, I could hit you on my two-way, or I could try to make you my new babe. I laid the dick down proper, it's a new day. Who ordered expensive lobster and souffle? Now that'll be me. Had to pull up in that CP3. Now do you love me, Lil' Key? Shot town to New Jersey, we gon' pull up. Hell yeah, I got the hook up. Anytime that you need me, we gon' pull up. Damn right, I got the hook up. And saying you gotta act brand new, nah, I can't stand you. Had to bring you round just to show what the fam do. No texts, no calls, no reasons to be involved. Young John Wall taking what's give it and get it off. Come on.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when you playing, no, I had to shout it. Days I'm in.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives the girls wild. I got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy.
Oh, that angle looks good. I'm looking good like that. Hang on. Ooh, that's kind of fly. Oh, I look good from that angle too. Oh, that looks great. God damn, I'm sexy. What can I do?
I make them hot. I make them shiver. They just get weak. Whenever I'm around, they see me walk. They hear me talk. I make them feel like their God ain't real. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Eat your heart out, girl.
Sam, you fucked up. That mic flip though. Sam, don't. The dog ate my mic flip.
I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
Now, I gotta be honest with you, I agree with Uncle Bobby. In my humble opinion, that is the greatest opening in the history of YouTube. And you can tell, folks, we got different looks for everything. Everything's got a new look. I was hard at work over the weekend. The Blackout's got a whole new look. Hot Program's got a new look. My streams have 2 or 3 new looks. And now y'all can tell by the casino theme here, it's time to get into some gaming and shit. If you have not subscribed to Gin and Truth, you need to do so. Don't tell me I'll think you're a horrible person and judge you for the rest of your life. Just go ahead and do that, and you can check out The Blackout at 1 p.m. Eastern on every Sunday, followed by Hot Program at 3:30 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. I'm trying to call it the Black Block. You know, every Sunday afternoon, you join me for the Black Block. The Blackout, followed by Hot Program, just a whole lot of Afro-American programming on the Atheist YouTubes. Now, look, folks, we're going to jump right into what we got to do for today, but we're on a tight schedule today because we're going to go chill with Uncle Bobby and watch some football. The Saints are playing. I forget who they're playing. They're playing somebody. I just looked into it. The Saints are playing, so we got to go about 8 o'clock and watch Monday Night Football. But look, I got to teach you punks how to play some Pinochle. You know, I didn't whip out the greatest entrance in the history of YouTube for no reason. You know, I did it because today we are gathered here to learn some fucking Pinochle. And we got to get to it because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm hungry. So I need Pinochle to put me in a better mood because after that, we got to go so I can cook some food and watch football. I'm literally fucking probably starving right now. All right, gang. So look, let's get into it. Let's jump into this shit. I want to teach y'all the basics of Pinochle. For you spades players at home, pay attention. You're about to learn a far superior game. Speaking of superior, though, here's some morally superior alcohol in my morally superior tumbler with some energy drink in it to boost my step up a little bit. So I got a little whiskey and energy drink in here. It's kind of like a vodka and Red Bull, but it's way better because it's Ghost Blue Raspberry Sour Patch Kids energy drink and whiskey. It's very sweet and it'll get you drunk quickly.
Going to play us out. Foy, you're going to play what to finish us up?
Do you know what? I don't know the name of this song actually, but I know the song, and so will you.
Oh, look forward to this.
This is our communion song. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. That place will be gathered, folks. But look, this is our communion. I'm gonna drop the commandments on you guys here. There's the communion command. There's cheers. You know. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, folks. Let's go ahead and do communion properly. Fuck it. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Please raise your glasses and hold on
to your asses. Through him, with him, in him, in the unity of the flying man. All glory and honor is yours who flight for our sins forever and ever. You may drink. Oh yeah, crank that up. Oh yeah, crank up that communion hymn. Oh yeah, now put that in your pipe organ and smoke it. All right. And now we're going to go with our communion song. Now, look, if you don't know who the hell we are by now, we are the motherfucking Cult of the Flying Man. And we are known as being the hottest, most greatest, most best atheist, leftist, skeptic community out there. And sometimes you just want to go where everybody knows your name. And that's who the fuck we are.
Us out for, you're going to play what to finish us up?
It's a beautiful
Do you know what? I don't know the name of this song, actually.
Teach your lame ass how to play Pinochle. You don't know how to play Pinochle. Maybe that's why we're not that good of friends. Maybe if you knew how to play Pinochle, we'd be better friends, huh? Huh?
I know
you ever
the song,
think about that?
so will you.
Oh, look forward to this. Five hands, take it away.
Got Seamus here on guitar.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your work.
You ain't supposed to be telling people what I'm into.
Wouldn't you like to
I told you those details
away?
Privately.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I know you want to sing along, y'all.
You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Well, all those nights when you got no lights and the check is in the mail, and your little angel on the cowed by its tail. Your third fiancé didn't show. Well, sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and you're always glad they came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Well, you get out of bed and the coffee's dead. The morning isn't looking bright.
It's gonna be a fucked up day.
Shrink right off to Europe and he doesn't even write. Your girlfriend says she's not a girl.
That's gonna be a problem.
Be glad there's one place in the world where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Oh,
that's beautiful. That's
Boy
beautiful.
bands.
Now, the fucked up part is, y'all, I've actually had a relationship end because my girlfriend told me she's not a girl. It's really happened. Real people live through shit like that. Y'all be listening to the lyrics like, your third fiance didn't show nigga somebody's been jilted that many times. Your girlfriend says she's not a girl. What a funny lyric. Nah, nigga, that's happened to me. All right, now technically I already knew she didn't see her. She saw herself as as what did she see herself? Intersexed is the word, I guess, or whatever. You know, she saw herself as both male and female, not non-binary, just both parts of the binary, because she didn't see herself as non-sex. She saw herself as both. You know, I knew that, but she was a model. I was like, you're hot. I really don't care. You're like a hot chick. We can date. It's all love. And that was beautiful to her. But then eventually, you know, she needed more than I could give her because I'm straight and I only date chicks. So it's like I wasn't acknowledging the non-female side because I don't date non-female sides. But it happens, y'all, and you'd be like, Pocket, but I'm telling y'all would have been in the same fucked up ass situation because the bitch is beautiful. She's a fucking model. You would not have understood that this was gonna be a problem in this particular relationship. But it does happen. That's the point. Now look, this is how you dated a trans girl once. She had a giant cock. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess that works out for a lot of people. So, all right, start here. Now, look, I'm going to show y'all how to play Pinochle. The first thing you do when you're trying to learn how to play Pinochle is, well, the truth is, the first thing you need to do is you need to find a Pinochle school. So what you do is you pretend that you found one and you go to the People's Choice Pinochle Lounge and gather. And this is going to... Let's say, why is this thing fucking with me? This is going to serve as your Pinochle school right here. All right, boom. Pop on in. You go to the practice area. Now, look, I know you want to come hang out with the cool kids at the bar, but if you go to the bar, this little note right here is just going to take you to Trickster Cards. Boom. I got to actually copy the other note because the one note people should really have over here is the practice note. You need the practice note. You got to come over here to the practice area for the people that don't know how to play. You come to the practice area. That's what it's for. This is the Pinochle school. This is where you come learn. It even tells you right here on the thing. It tells you, look, you pop it up. Have fun in the booth learning, practicing Pinochle at your own pace with suggestions. Boom. So this is your Pinochle school. You pop on up. You go bop. Boom. Let's even change your view. Make it nice and big for you. Oh, y'all see that? Y'all like that transition? Don't lie. Don't lie. You like that transition. Also, I like that, Harley Quinn. Thanks for getting rid of these fucking porn bots. And fucking porn bots be out here fucking everything up. Now, look, folks. That is impressive. I mean, look at this. All right, so look, I'm going to show you how to learn how to play Pinochle. You start here. It's almost like I thought of this. You start here. Now, you're going to see me play this World of Card games a lot. I really like this World of Card games, but let me show you all the different apps that you use to learn. You start here with the World of Card games, Double Deck Pinochle card game for beginners. We're learning Double Deck Pinochle. Now, the first thing you got to do is you got to read through this so that you understand how this works. Now, let me run it. I'm going to run it down for you because we're going through the beginning. I'm going to show you how fast it is to learn. You say, all right, so look, this is made by Maria, and they said, I first started playing Double Deck Pinochle when I began implementing it for World of Cards, so they didn't have to know they had to program it, though, so they've not been playing for long. This page is from a beginner's perspective. What the hell is over here? Oh, it's just a little thing about the game. Oh, this is cool. You should check this out. All right, now look. Similarities to other games. If you play other card games, you're going to learn about them here. All right, Pinochle contains some elements from several other card games. All right, it has the concept of melds.
All right, basically what that is, y'all. And look, let me explain some things to y'all I got to understand before we get into this. Let me explain some shit to y'all real quick. Look, let me explain something to y'all. I know y'all love that transition. That shit is fly. Don't act like it's not fly because it's fly. This shit is fly, my guy. I know. I'm so gaming. I got the fucking casino theme shit going. I know you're impressed. If you sit up in there and act like you ain't impressed, go fuck yourself. You're fucking impressed. All right? Now, y'all gotta understand that Pinochle is the greatest game ever invented. Why is that? Because it's the game my dad taught me and it's cool as shit. And I learned it playing with old dudes. And Pinochle is all about the drama. It's like Uncle Bobby says about spades. Pinochle, if you meet somebody and the person is a good Pinochle player and you can partner up with them, it's like fucking sex magic, y'all. It's like intimacy. It's like a good Pinochle partner is like you just oh my god, you just want to explore the wonders of fucking magnificence together, okay? But Pinochle is also the way to ruin friendships quickly. Pinochle is vicious. It's ruthless. It's all about decision making. It's all about strategy. And you're working with your partner to essentially destroy the other team and to ruin their day, to make them feel awful, to make them feel like they are fucking losers and they should just not even have bothered to play this fucking game with you today. It's a beautiful game, folks. Now, where am I going with all of this? The truth is, Pinochle is all about what me and my dad call the conversation. Okay? No two hands of Pinochle are alike, and everything going on the table is really a conversation between the players. And once you understand what's happening, everybody understands the conversation. But when you first get started, you're not ready to talk really about the conversation. So when we're onboarding you in this Pinochle school, we just are trying to teach you the game slowly. But what you're working towards is a place where you first understand the rules of the game, and that understanding of the rules allows you to understand how to play the game, but then you're working towards understanding the conversation that's happening at the table, and then because you understand the rules and shit, everything becomes very fast-paced. So when you're learning Pinochle, everything seems slow and like there's a lot of rules. But once you get used to it, it's like there's not really that many rules. It's easy to understand everything. Everything's very fast-paced. And then everything's about the conversation that's happening at the table. And so the rules kind of fade away and the magic takes over. So what am I trying to tell you? It's a beautiful game. You just got to learn it. And you got to remember that when you're learning the rules and the gameplay, you're really just sort of earning your ticket. You're just learning enough so that you can actually play through the game. But what you're really trying to get through is get to the point where you can understand the conversation. And once that happens, that's when the magic takes over, because Pinochle is an incredibly strategic, fun game to play with your partner. And then it's like, it's actually very fast paced. All right, so here we go. All right, so let's start from the basics. Let's go back to the fucking good scene right here. Boom, 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 up. Transition is magic. Attack. She fucking hit it with the attack. That's hilarious. All right, so here we go. All right, so you have the concept of melds, right? And so when you first start every Pinochle hand, you have melds. Melds are just special combinations of cards, like in Gin Rummy. I don't fucking play Gin Rummy. I have played it when I was a kid, but that's basically what's up. However, the melds are more complex. For example, a Pinochle meld, which is worth 4 points, is composed of the Jack of Diamonds and the Queen of Spades. This one you got to remember. Pinochle is the Jack of Diamonds and the Queen of Spades. There's nothing like that in Gin Rummy. You also have melds such as Aces Around. These are called arounds or rounds.
an ace in every suit. This is very similar to Gin Rummy meld, although in Gin Rummy, a meld may contain just 3 aces. Yeah. So you got to have all 4 in your rounds. There's a trump suit. All right. Here's the really important when you're trading cards. There's a trump suit. And the trick-taking phase. This is very similar to spades. In euchre in 29, the trump suit is chosen by a player after the cards are dealt. It's the same for Pinochle. You're bidding. When you bid in Pinochle, you're bidding for the right to declare the trump suit. In Pinochle, there's an auction phase in which players bid for the privilege of choosing the trump suits, what I just said. The bid is a number, 50 at a minimum. The player who bids the highest gets to choose the trump, but at a cost. They oblige their team to score that number of points during that hand. This is very similar to the bidding in 29. I don't play 29. In contrast with spades, your bid is a guess at the number of tricks you will take and does not affect the trump suit, which is always spades. All right, yeah, that's real important. So in Pinochle, another way to call this is a contract. You can call a bid a particular contract. When you win a bid, you're contracting for that number of points. Now, here's what's interesting. Where are those points going to come from? They're going to come from your trick taking, right? When you're exchanging tricks, when you're playing the cards, you get points during that. You also get points for the combination of cards that are in your hand. That's called your meld. And you get the same thing. You also get points for the combination of points that are in your partner's hand and the points that your partner gets in trick taking. So that is sort of the game right there. You know how many points of meld you have. You don't necessarily know exactly how many points of meld your partner has, although there's normally a way for them to communicate that information to you. And then you're going to use that to establish your bid. It's very simple. If I think I have 20 meld and Uncle Bobby is my partner, Gin and Truth on YouTube, and so I say I have 20 in meld, I think Uncle Bobby has 20 in meld, that tells me we would have 40 points. And then we are also going to have a certain amount of points we're going to get when we're taking tricks. For our purposes, it has to at least be 20. And so let's say we're going to take 20 in meld. That would be our 60 points. So if I bid 60, that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, okay, I'm now obligated in order to get 60 points. Uncle Bobby and I have to total 60 points. We need at least 20 in meld, and we need at least 20 in tricks. Now, what happens? If we don't have 20 in meld, that means we say we didn't save our meld. If we don't have 20 in meld, we don't even play the hand. Without 20 in meld, you can't even start playing. You can't even take the bid. So basically, if you end up in a situation where I take a bid, for some reason I don't have 20 in meld between me and my partner, we're automatically set. Whatever we bid, we lose that many points. All right? Now, but what I am saying, if we, let's assume we have 20 in meld, we also have to get at least 20 in trick taking. Okay, cool. If we get all of that and we bid 60, if we get all of that, then we'll get our 60 points. If we make any extra points, we'll also get those. All right, so here we go. My initial impression of Pinochle, like a lot of people, was heavily colored by playing spades. A lot of people play spades. It's a game which has only a few restrictions on what cards can be played when following a lead card. In spades, you must follow the lead card suit when playing a card, but only if you have a card of that suit. Otherwise, you could play anything. In Pinochle, the rules are more rigid. You must always play a card higher than the suit that led the trick. You must play a higher card of the suit that led the trick. And if you cannot do that, you must play a trump suit card if you have one. This is called crawling. It's also called topping, or let's see what they call it in Trickster. In Trickster, they call it, say, practice, more rules, They call it heading. Must head the trick. Okay? That's what they call it. So crawling, topping, or heading, they all refer to the same thing. Sometimes the rule simply says must win trick. It just means if you can win a trick, you have to. If somebody plays a heart suit and you have a heart in your hand, you have to play a higher heart. If you don't have a higher heart, you have to play a heart that's lower. You have to always play in suit. The only difference is if you have a trump card, you have to play in trump. So you always have to try to win a trick, even if your partner is winning the trick. All right, so in the screenshot above, the player on the left is playing a game of spades. Since they have no hearts card, right? Somebody played a heart, they're playing spades. Since they have no hearts card, they can follow with any card, right? The player on the right is playing Pinochle. He has no clubs, so he cannot follow the trick suit. Therefore, he must play a diamond, which is the trump suit. All right, so in this case, they have a 7 of hearts. They don't have any hearts in their hand. So they can follow with any suit. They can play any of these cards. You see all of these cards are lit up. They can play any card they want. They can beat it by playing a spade, which is the trump suit. But they can play any other suit they can just throw off. In Pinochle, if you don't have what's necessary to play in clubs, you have to play the diamonds, which in this case is the trump suit. We can see that by the big diamond in the middle of the table. That's how this particular app indicates what the trump suit is. And so you have to cut. That's called cutting. You have to cut this with the trump suit, play the king or the ace. And that would beat this 10 of clubs. All right, here we go. I'm getting a little tipsy. This is fun to try to do tipsy. All right. For someone used to spades, being more restricted in your choice of cards can be frustrating. Just remember that everyone is equally affected by the rules. This is so easy. I don't know. I guess I'm just used to it. You need a cheat sheet. All right. So she asked a good question. I take it the face cards are higher than the numbered cards. In Pinochle, there are only face cards. In a regular deck of cards, you have all these numbered cards. In a Pinochle deck, you only have 10s, kings, jacks, queens, kings, and aces. And the order is different. The lowest card is the jack, then the queen, then the king, then the 10, then the ace. These are sorted in order from left to right. The queen, then the king, then the 10, then the ace. And the jack is actually the lowest card. In double deck Pinochle, you get rid of the 9, so there aren't even any 9s. And there's also 4 of every card because a Pinochle deck has 2 of every card. When you play double deck Pinochle, there are 4 of every card because you play with 2 Pinochle decks. You get rid of all the 9s. There are normally 9s in a Pinochle deck. When you buy a Pinochle deck from the store, there will be 9s in it. You get rid of all the 9s. And then you just leave yourself with the 10s, the jacks, the queens, the kings, and the aces. It actually works out really nice. Why? Because there's 4 of each card. There's 5 cards. So there's 20 cards per deck, basically. And you play with 2 what are essentially double decks. So you end up with 80 cards, a nice even 80 cards where there are just 4 copies of each of the 5 suits, the 5 cards in every suit, right? So you have 4 times 5, which is 20, times 4 suits, gives you your 80 cards. So there's 4 suits, 5 cards in every suit, 4 copies of each card, gives you a nice round 80 cards. And then you also want to remember that the only cards that are worth actual points are the kings, 10s, and aces. I know this all sounds complicated, but trust me, once I start showing you what's going on, it gets pretty interesting. And it gets easy to understand. All right, so... And also, I'm drunk, so this is like drunk history where I'm trying to explain this, and I've had a couple shots in me, but that's my problem. I'll show you where we go with the playlist. I'm just trying to show you we have this all explained to you in the link. All you got to do, you go to the practice table. Once you go to your little practice table, all of this is here for you in the tutorial. You start here, you're going to read through this thing I'm reading through, and then I'll show you where we go from there. All right, so cool. Let's get through this real quick. All right, table talk. This is an important rule. This is really important to understand in Pinochle. Table talk is considered questionable in most other games. What does that mean? It's not good in other games to do what's called card counting. That's considered cheating. And also, you don't use signal cards in other games. That is considered questionable. In Pinochle, you're not allowed to verbally talk across the table. Verbal talking across the table about the game is frowned upon. Counting cards is normal and expected, as is using signal cards. Signal cards are very important in Pinochle. So in Pinochle, it's perfectly acceptable to use your bid to signal information about the meld in your hand to your partner. The more information you have about your partner's hand, the better prepared you are to make your own bid. This all becomes really important, and in general, you also use signal cards. Pinochle is a team game. And when you first start to understand it, you're trying to understand what you need to do. As soon as you understand the rules, you got to start to put everything in the perspective of you actually are playing a team game with your partner. All right, here we go. It's a very simple example. Suppose you have 2 Pinocles in your hand. Double Pinocle's worth 30 points. A Pinochle is a meld made up of a queen of spades and a jack of diamonds. 2 Pinochle melds are worth 30 points. Not bad. Wouldn't it be nice if you could tell your partner, I've got 2 Pinocles. Suppose they had 30 meld in their hand too. They could make a bid of 60 and feel comfortable knowing that between the two of you, you have enough meld to fulfill your bid. You cannot tell your partner verbally how many meld points you have. You can signal it by choosing your bid carefully. In this case, you will want to bid 3 extra points over the previous player's bid. The 3 extra points mean I have 30 meld. Pinochle experts will have worked out a very precise bidding system with their partners over the course of time. I recommend the bidding system described at Pagot's Double Pinochle page to start with. It's relatively simple and follows the example given above. Think before you provide a meld bid, however. If your partner is already passed, meaning they've declined to bid, then there's no point in sharing any information about your meld points with the table. You're on your own in figuring out what to bid. Your partner may have no meld points at all or just a few. Also, if you have no marriage melds, it is probably unwise to bid at all. In that case, if you win the bid, you will be unable to choose a trump. The rule is that you can only choose trump from a suit in which you have marriage melds. So your team would get your bid subtracted from your score, an unpleasant penalty. All right, so what are they trying to say there? When you're bidding for the right to set what the trump suit is. Why is that important? Because the trump suit is the dominant suit, and your goal is to save your bid. So being able to determine what suit is trump is a big advantage in trying to make your score. However, you're only allowed to declare trump in suits that you have a marriage in. A marriage is a king and a queen in the same suit. So in this case, this person can declare trump in clubs, diamonds, and spades, but not hearts. Why is that really important? Because if you signal with a bid to your partner, you also are going to potentially win that bid. If everybody else passes, you will win the bid. If you win the bid and then you don't have any marriages, you're automatically going to get set because you won't be able to declare any trump. The other problem will be if you have a particularly strong suit, but basically you can't play that suit because you don't have a marriage in that suit. So there's a lot of, so this is what becomes kind of high stakes. You need to send your partner an indication of how much meld you have in your hand, but you've got to weigh that against the risk of actually having to take the bid. This does sound complicated as fuck. I don't know how it got to be so uncomplicated for me, but it's really just not that complicated. You're trying to take the marriage, you're trying to take the bid and declare trump. You got to have at least a marriage to do so. And that determines how risky or not it is to send your partner information about the meld in your hand. All right, here we go. Finding melds. When I first began playing Pinochle, I was overwhelmed by all the different types of meld and the rules for when my cards could overlap to belong to several different melds and when they could not. Here's an example of cards belonging to more than one meld. All right, and remember, guys, meld just means special combinations of cards that you have in your hand before the hand starts. So basically, when the hand starts, everybody's dealt their cards. You look in your hand after you sort your hand, and you will have special combinations of cards. Those cards are worth points. I'll say more about that. We have a video coming up, and so I just want to get through this. All right. If you look carefully, you will see that this hand contains a run. A run is just a meld where you have the ace, the 10, the king, the queen, and the jack, all 5 cards of a same suit. It only counts, however, if that particular suit becomes trump. So this ace, 10, king, queen, jack combination is worth 15 points, but it's only worth 15 points if clubs becomes trump. You might also think that if clubs is trump, you could also get a royal marriage from the queen and the king of clubs, but that is not the case. Marriages and runs are both type 1 melds, and the same card cannot be applied to 2 different melds of the same type. Now, this isn't making any sense to you guys, but there are basically 3 types of meld. The first is runs and marriages. Basically, if something is part of a run, that marriage cannot count separately. Why does that matter? Because if any other suit is trump, then this marriage will still count. So let's say diamonds is trump. If diamonds is trump, this person doesn't have a run in diamonds, but this marriage, so their run won't count, but this marriage will still count. In this case, that marriage is only worth 2 points. But that's why. So it just means a marriage cannot count as both a marriage and part of a run because they're both the same type. Now, what would happen is if they had this run and they had an extra king and a queen, they would then have a run in clubs and an extra marriage. Right? Because now they have an extra king and queen, and so they can count because they're in the same type. Now, if something like diamonds becomes trump and they have an extra king and queen, then they just have 2 marriages in clubs. All right. If you're like me, you will find it a bit hard to find and keep track of all the different melds in your hand, especially in the beginning. Fortunately, there's a show meld button that you can click during the bidding phase that will help. I'll show you guys that in the interface. Using the show meld button picks out all of the cards involved in melds that do not require a trump suit. It is left to you to look for the melds that do require a trump suit. That will be your runs. and royal marriages, which just is you get 2 extra points for a marriage if it's the Trump suit. And since marriages are all shown, you will really only need to keep an eye out for runs, and those become fairly obvious after practice. At this point, you may be wondering what to bid for the above hand of cards. Well, it depends. If my partner were the dealer and no one else has bid yet, I'd probably place a 50 bid at the lowest. That's the minimum. This would save my partner from being forced to choose Trump with poor cards or even having to forfeit if they have no marriages. Otherwise, I'd probably pass. The hand has a total of 10 meld points. They're showing all this here. Or 25 if I assume that clubs is Trump. So they're kind of explaining that. And then they go over the bidder out rule, which just means that if you get to the maximum, the win score, which is 500, victory is given to the team who declare Trump. In other words, you have to actually take a bid to win. All right, so that's that, right? You're going to read this fucking thing. It's like a 10 or 20-minute read about the rules of Pinochle, and then it tells you the meld types. It tells you have type 1, which is runs and marriages. It gives you the score for them. It gives you the type 2 Pinocles, and then type 3 around. So earlier, Harley Quinn said you need like a cheat sheet for this game. This is your cheat sheet. It's called the meld table. But eventually you commit it to memory because all you mostly need to remember is the single melds. And I'll show you guys what these are. Type 1 is runs and marriages. Why is this important? Let's start a hand of Pinochle. Just say whatever, that's fine, create. Okay, cool. Let's look at my hand. Remember what a run is. A run is an ace, 10, king, queen, and jack all in the same suit. Well, then why does this make things easier? Because marriages, a king and queen, are part of runs. So type 1 meld, I'm showing you how to break this table down, guys. Type 1 meld, how are families like, yeah, this is the first game we're going to learn as a family. We're just going to teach you Pinochle. But it's incredible. That's probably why. All right, so look, right? Type 1 meld is just runs and marriages, right? And so it's really easy because in order to see if you have a run, you have to have a marriage. So when I first do my type 1 meld, when I first look at my hand, I'm just looking over it. I'm going, do I have a run? Nope. Do I have a run? Nope, but I have a marriage. Do I have a run? Yes. That means I automatically have a marriage. Do I have a run? No, I also don't have a marriage. So you now pretty much know everything because I already know where my marriage is and I already know where my run is. All right, now what's the type 2? So then you just score that one type. I know marriages are worth 2 points. So that's 2. And then this would be 4. And then this run is worth 15. But that only counts if diamonds becomes Trump. And so when you're counting your meld to send to your partner, in this case Aaron, sitting across from me, I don't count the run. So far, I would say in type 1, I have 4 points in meld because I have 2 marriages. Then the next type of meld you look for is, hang on. This explains a lot of this shit to you. These are all these resources are really good. You just got to sit there and read through them. Then the next type is Pinocles. Pinochle is always the queen of spades and the jack of diamonds. Queen of spades, jack of diamonds. That's it. So now you just go, do I have the queen of spades? Do I have the jack of diamonds? I have the queen of spades here. I have the jack of diamonds. So that means I have 1 Pinochle. So I add that 4. Pinocle's worth 4. I add that 4 to the 4 I have before. So far that's 8. points I have in meld. Then the last group is just called arounds. It's only do you have and there's nothing for tens. It's only do you have ace, kings, queens, or jacks in every suit. So all you need to do for arounds is, again, you have to have an ace, king, or queen, and jack in every suit. So the trick is you just look at your shortest suit. My shortest suit is this heart suit. That's the one I have the fewest cards, and that's what I mean by short. Short suit is fewest cards. Long suit is the most amount of cards. So my short is hearts. My long is diamonds. I look at my shortest suit. Why? Because if I don't have something in my shortest suit, then I don't have it. So all I need to look for is aces and kings. Because I already know, based on this being my short suit, I don't have jacks, right? Because I can't have jacks because I already know I don't have a jack of hearts. I can't have queens because I already know I don't have a queen of hearts. So this is what I mean by you always start with your short suit. Now I'm just looking for aces or kings. Do I have an ace in every suit? I do. Boom, 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 boom. Now I have aces. Those are worth 10. Do I have a king in every suit? Boom, 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 boom. Yes, I do. That's worth 8. So now I have 18 in rounds. I have 10 for aces. I have 8 for kings. So that's 18, right? Then I go to the other two. I had 4 for Pinochle. That's 22, right? And then I had 4 in marriages. I had 2 marriages. That's 26. So now I know what? I have 26 as my base score. I have 26. Why do I have 26 and 39? It's showing you what your meld would be in different suits. 26 is the base score. Remember, you only send your partner your non-Trump dependent meld. But this is telling me if I end up taking the bid in hearts, I'll have, if the bid comes in hearts, I'll have 26. If the bid comes in clubs, I'll have 26. But if the bid comes in spades or diamonds, I'll actually have 39. Why 39 instead of 26? Because runs are worth 15. I have a run in diamonds, ace, 10, king, queen, jack. I have a run in spades, ace, 10, king, queen, jack. But what happens? Remember that runs and marriages are both what? They're both type 1. So if spades or diamonds becomes the trump, then these marriages won't count. So what am I getting at? This is a very simple conversion. Anytime you have a run in a suit, all you do is you subtract 2 from your meld and you add 15. That's what you have. Your run is worth 15, but you lose credit for the marriage. So basically, you can always just add 13, right? What you have is anytime you have a run in a suit, you could take whatever you figure out, and then you have plus 13 in that suit. So all we did was, let's do it again. Type 1, we go through type 1. 1 marriage with a run. 2 marriage with a run. That's it. So now we know we've got 4 in type 1. Then we jump to type 2. What is type 2? Just Pinochle. Queen of spades, jack of diamonds. That's worth 4. So now we've got 2 marriages, ETH worth 2. That's 4. We've got a single Pinochle. That's worth 4. That's 8. Then what do? We look for type 3. That's our rounds. What do? We go to the short suit. Do we have aces around? Yes. That's worth 10. That's and then do we have kings? Yes, that's worth 8. So now we have 18 plus 4 is 22, plus 4 is 26. 26, and then we add 13 for the 2 suits that we have marriages in. So this takes a while to get used to, but I'm trying to show you how you break it down. Once you break it down, it's not quite as crazy as it looks, and you just get You just need some experience doing it, and it gets pretty fast. When you actually start playing competitively, you are only going to have 30 seconds to figure all this out and bid. And in some games, you only have 15 seconds to play. So you actually want to practice this so that you can read the meld in your hand pretty quick. The other thing is, the real secret to getting good at Pinochle, to understand what we're going to be talking about as we advance in Pinochle school, to understanding the conversation that's being played throughout the table, really good Pinochle players learn how to pay attention to the meld in everybody else's hand. Why? Because one of the rules of Pinochle is you have to show your meld. So you cannot have meld in your hand and not put it down. That's considered reneging. And so you get information about what's in your partner's hands and what's in your opponent's hands based on what they meld. And that becomes very important to playing out strategies later. A quick example is aces are the top of every suit. One of the things you have to do to get your strategy right is you have to get to your partner. You got to try to find your partner. If I know that the person to the left of me have aces, then I know that they're at least going to be able to block one round of passing to my partner. Because unless I am able to pull that ace out of their suit, out of their hand, or unless my partner cuts it in trump, them melding aces tells me that they can potentially block my effort to pass to my partner. So that's the type of information you're looking for. That's why you have to pay attention not just to your meld, but what everybody else melds. It starts to give you information about who has aces, for instance, or who has certain point cards, who has trump. If I take this card, this bid, and I get it in diamonds, what did I tell you earlier about the cards? There's 4 of every card, 5 different types of cards, and 4 different suits. That's 80 cards. So there's 20 of every suit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you guys are starting to see where this goes. I have 8 diamonds in my hand. What does that mean, y'all? There's only 12 other diamonds. There's only 12 other trump cards throughout the board, right? If somebody melts aces, that shows me where one of those other diamonds is. If somebody else melts Pinochle or double Pinochle, they're showing me where those jacks are. So somebody might meld, and just off knowing I have 8 diamonds and what other people meld, I might know where 12 or 13 of the diamonds are before the hand even starts. Right? If somebody else has a run in diamonds, I got 8 diamonds. Let's say this person melds diamonds, running diamonds. I got 8, they got 5. That's 13 of the diamonds right there. If my partner melds aces, I know that's, so now I know Larry can't have a lot of diamonds. So all of this will come up later. All I'm trying to show you right now is your meld is important. It gets broken down into 3 categories. You get used to assessing it quickly, and then you get used to paying attention to what everybody else melds. And that's also how you get fast at counting your meld. Because you get fast at counting yours, you're paying attention to everybody else's meld, every single hand. Eventually you get really fast at counting meld. Now, what is double? Double is just when you have 2 of something. So double aces around is 2 aces in every suit. Double queens is 2 queens in every suit. Double Pinochle is 2 queens of diamonds and 2 aces of spades, at least 2 of both. Right? A double marriage is 2 kings and 2 queens in the same suit. So then all you really got to remember is that anytime you go to double Pinochle, double anything, you add a 0. If you have a run and you have a double run, a run is worth 15, a double run is worth 150. Aces are worth 10, a double aces is worth 100. Kings are worth 8, a double kings is worth 80. How do you remember all the different rounds? They start with aces at 10 and then they go down by 2. Aces are worth 10, kings are worth 8, queens are worth 6, jacks are worth 4. It becomes super easy to remember. You just remember aces are worth 10 and then you know everything else. Kings 8, queens 6, jacks 4. The only thing that gets unique is marriages. Marriages are normally worth 2, double marriage is worth 4, except a royal marriage, if a marriage in Trump is worth 4, double marriage is worth 8. So you do remember that, and then you got to remember that Pinochle is worth 4, but a double Pinochle is worth 30. Why this is important? Because double Pinochle becomes a great way of having a strong meld hand. But yeah, you remember these tables, and then most of these things, you rarely see triple fucking anything. But it does come up once in a blue moon. So that's kind of that. Now, what do you do from there? Now they're going to give you a tutorial game. So this is your professor. He's going to help you out. And now he's going to teach you how to play. So he's going to tell you every step. Hello, I'm teaching you how to play. Click next. If you wish to stop, click exit. Cool. Double Deck Pinochle is a team game with partners sitting across from each other. My partner's Bingo. The game uses ace, tens, kings, queens, and jacks. There are 4 identical cards of each suit for a total of 80 cards. Let's play an example game. A random player is chosen to be the dealer. Marvin is the dealer. Each player is dealt a hand of 20 cards, normally in 4 or 5 at a time. Being able to choose the trump suit is often helpful. Let me explain. Trump suit cards are more powerful than other cards. You can also gain more meld points with trump suit cards, right? Again, this run will only count if clubs is worth trump. If clubs is trump. Melds are special combinations of cards, each worth a certain number of points. There are 8 kinds of melds. For example, a Pinochle contains a jack of diamonds and queen of spades. A run meld contains the jack, queen, king, 10, and ace of the trump suit. So if you want your team to win the bid to choose the trump suit. That's really important because bidding is a chance to do what? Help each other take the bid by communicating to your partner how much meld you have. And then if your partner or you wins the bid, the teammate becomes the support hand. Your job is to try to help the partner who took the bid make the bid. In other words, bring home the contracted number of points. And if you're the other team, you're playing defense. You're trying to stop them from taking home the required number of points. Then they will lose the contracted number of points. All right. There's a rule that you must have a marriage, king and queen in a suit, to declare it as trump. So do not bid for the trump suit if you have no marriages at all. Bidding starts left of the dealer, so Bingo will go first. Bingo bid a 52. That immediately should tell us something, right? You're always starting to the left of the dealer. The minimum bid is 50. Bingo went what? 2 over 50. What is that doing? Bingo is telling me I have 20 meld. Now, Bingo might have 17 meld. Bingo might have 27 meld. I don't really know. But Bingo is telling me they have around 20 meld. Bingo's indicated that they have 20 meld by starting the bid at 52. Now Sandy bids. Sandy passed, which means Sandy isn't trying to get the bid. That doesn't necessarily mean Sandy doesn't have any meld. it could mean Sandy doesn't want to try to get the bid. Now imagine Sandy could be sitting on double Pinochle, which is worth 30 meld. But if they don't have any marriages or they don't have a strong trump suit, they don't want to fuck around and take the bid. So they got to pass. So they passed, not telling me much about what's going on in their hand. So now we'll see ours. Sandy passed, must have a poor hand. Now it's my turn to bid. Now we look at my meld. I've got a clubs marriage, king and queen, spades marriage, king and queen, pinochle, 2 pinocles, 2 queens of spades, 2 jacks of diamonds, and jacks around, jack, 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 jack. Now that adds up to 38. So now I could send really 40 mel to my partner. I could bid a 56. But they'll signal to my partner my bidding 55, which is 3 more. So basically, they try to encourage you to take the under. You always bid down, basically. So I have 38. I'll signal 3. Now, I would signal 4 because between me and you, and if I'm playing with somebody like my dad, they know when I send a big no. They know when I send a bid of +4 that I could be as low as 37 or 38, but I would want to send them about 40 meld. But the conservative move is to send them about 30. So that's what you do here. You bid 55. Here we go. Should pop up. So they pretended the bid was 55. Normally there'll be a little interface that pops up. You just click 55. After my bid, the next 3 players passed. So this person passed, then my partner passed. They don't want to bid against me. They passed. Now my partners are going to say, okay, well, they both passed. If my partner really wanted to bid strongly, they would bid again. But since they didn't, they're basically saying they don't want to bid against me. So now it's up to me. I get to declare Trump. We're going to declare Trump in clubs so that this run counts. The highest bid wins the bidding war. I get to choose Trump. I guess my partner decided I should choose the Trump since I have more meld. Exactly. My partner decided if they've got 20 meld-ish and I've got 30-ish meld, I should take the bid so that if I want to throw my runs and stuff on, I'll get all my meld to count. I choose clubs as the Trump suit. Again, there's normally a little interface where you pick clubs. I have a lot of clubs. Also a run. Meld will earn more points. So now clubs is the Trump suit. Now everyone displays their meld. My team wins 71 meld points. Right? Here's what's important. See, everyone displays their meld. And this is what I mean about paying attention. You'll only have that minute to look at everybody's meld around the table. But I noticed, right? I noticed this person had aces. My partner had aces, right? So you pick up that kind of information quickly. Now, if the bid winners do not have 20 meld points, their bid is subtracted from their score. You automatically get set if you don't have at least 20 meld. In this case, we do. You also automatically get set if you don't take at least 20 points in trick taking. But fortunately, we have 71, more than enough meld points. So now it tells us we have melded 71 meld points. Our bid was 55. Our opponents are lucky. They have just enough meld points. They have 20 meld points. Cool. Having won the bid with 55, our team must now score at least 55 points to earn our points, to get to keep them. With 71 meld, this is easy. We just have to do what's called saving. We must score at least 20 points when taking tricks. We need to be careful that we succeed in this. A trick is just a pile of 4 cards, 1 from each player. Since I won the bid, I start the trick taking. Turns a play card. Oh, turns to play a card proceed clockwise. Always clockwise. So I start with the ace. Normally that's what you do. You play offsuit aces because they're winners. They're winners and you're normally playing offsuit. By that I mean we're not playing trump. So we're going to start by playing our offsuit aces because they're going to win because they're the highest card, but they shouldn't get cut because they're early on. Players must choose a card with the same suit as the first card if they have one. If not, they got to play a trump. So everybody has to play a heart. Now, I get 2 points. My ace is worth a point. The king is worth a point. The only cards worth points are aces, tens, and kings. Queens and jacks are not worth points. So the ace and the king count towards our 20. The queen and the jack do not. Cards are ranked with ace the highest, then 10, then king, then queen, then jack. Trump suit cards are always ranked higher than cards of other suits. Taking an ace, 10, or king earns you 1 point each. The queen and jack have no value. My partner, Bingo, played a king to give me a point card. Great. So that's the basic game. You're always trying to give your partner points and avoid giving your opponents points when they're going to win. My opponents played a queen and a jack to avoid giving me points. I take the trick, meaning that I get 2 points, and then I get to lead the next one. I play first on the winner, plays first the next trick. The trick taker gets to start the next trick. All right, and now I can play any other card in my hand. You play another ace, right? You keep playing offsuit aces. So now everybody plays it. Now look, Sandy cut. Sandy did not have an ace. Sandy won this book because they played a club. They also were smart. They played last, so they cut with a pointer card. That way they got 1, 2, 3 points. So this was worth 3 points instead of 2. However, if someone plays the trump card, they'll take the trick. So this trick goes to Sandy, who played the trump suit card, and Sandy must not have any more spades in order to play a trump card. So now we would say Sandy is cutting clubs. So now I know Sandy is cutting spades. Anytime I play a spades or anytime somebody leads a trick with spades, Sandy can be expected to cut it with a club until they run out of trump. Our opponents get 3 points, 1 each for the ace, the king, and the 10. Now play continues. 2 bonus points are given to the team that wins the last trick. In double tech Pinochle, the total trick points always sum to 50. Why is that? Because there are 14 aces, 14 kings, 14 tens. That works out to be 48, plus extra 2 for winning the last trick. That gets you to 50. After all cards have been played, a new hand is dealt. The game ends when one team reaches at least 500 points. Complete rules are available by clicking help in the bottom left corner. So click help. This gives you more rules. Go through it all again. All right. Tutorial complete. You can exit to close the tutorial. Okay. They don't even let you finish. All right, but that tutorial is actually really helpful. So then you go here, accept the terms, and this is the website. You'll see me play here later. You actually want to go ahead and get registered, and then you can play. But normally what I do, then here you're playing against, it logged me in as a guest. Now you're actually playing against players. So you see how fast this goes. You can tell it to show your meld. I'm going to ruin this for these players. Clubs, diamonds, it's telling you all your stuff. You got 24. He bid a 54, say 56. Pass that to your partner. See, my partner passed. Now I've got to take the run or to take the bid. I'm going to take it probably in spades. There's no run, so it doesn't matter. Just take it in the longest suit as long as there's a trump. So I'll take it in spades. All right. Accept. Now it's showing meld. All right, nobody's showing. This guy's got aces over here, but I've always got to try to pass by B4. I'm also seeing some spades in my partner's hand. Okay, we're all good to go. All right, now I'm going to start. All right, I'm start playing those aces. Everybody's going to play hearts. My partner didn't point me. They must not have a lot of hearts. That's okay. Go play diamonds. My partner will try to play, yep, point. All right, cool. I'm out of aces, so now what I'll try to do is I'll lead with the queen. The queen's important. You can go to the jack, but think about what a jack does. Somebody can beat a jack with a king or a queen, and if they don't want to make a hand particularly worthwhile, they can beat a jack with the queen, and things can happen. If you can, you always want to throw off with a queen, because the person that has to beat this has to now play a king, a 10, or an ace, and those are worth a point. So by starting with the queen, remember what I'm doing is I'm playing off. I played my winners. I don't want to play the ace of spades. The spades is trump. The ace of spades is my only top trump card. So if I play that, then we call that taking the top off my trump. I don't want to do that. I want to instead try to get my partner in. So what I want to do is I want to play a non-pointer card, because this person might get in or this person might win, and I don't know what my partner has. So we call this trying to find your partner. You want to start by leading a non-pointer card, and in this case, you want to lead with the queen, because it will force this person to play a pointer card, which then sort of forces the action to make the book worth taking. So I'll play the queen of spades. They take it with the ace. They'll win this book. I forced their hand to do that. That's fine. Now they're playing their winners. I don't want to put a point on this. I'll play a jack. Do the same thing. See their partner's feeding them a point. My partner's avoiding giving them a point. I do the same thing. I play a queen. And I got to pay attention. Now they're coming back to aces. Now I have to give them a point, right? Because I don't have a queen or a jack. So now that's a 3-point book. That book was worth a little bit more. Now they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to play off. They play with the king. My partner can't beat it. So now their partner comes in with the 10. Now they'll win this book. Even though somebody's got that ace. They might have the ace. There's still 2 more aces of clubs out there. Their partner had it. Okay, so their partner, they didn't force them to play it before. They played that 10. I couldn't beat it. Now they know that. So now they play this ace, and they capture another point from me. Now, but if they play another club, I'm going to cut it. So now they play the ace of hearts. I want to avoid giving them a point. Play the ace of diamonds. I want to avoid giving them a point. Play the ace of spades. Same thing. Now they're coming back in my trump. I want to avoid giving them a point. That's when I play that jack. Same thing. Now they play a point because they're trying to pull trump. They're trying to see if they can get all the trump out of my hand and make some of their later cards winners. I'm going to try to make that not go good. So there, I play the ace. I win that. And now I'm going to do the same thing because I can't win. I don't think any of these are winners. I'm going to try to pull that trump too. Now I pulled the ace out. Okay, they had to play that. They won that. That's cool. My partner just won this book with their ace, so I got to put a point on that. That's a 4-point book. I want to put a point on that. I found my partner. All right, they're in diamonds. Cool. All right, now they were out of winners, and they did the same thing. They played a non-point because they don't know who's going to win. They're hoping I can win, and I can, right? Because this person beat it with the king. They didn't have the ace, and they also couldn't cut. So now what do? I'm going to cut. And I don't think this person is cutting diamond, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. Boom. They just threw off. They're out of trump. right? They didn't play a diamond, and they also didn't play a spade. So they're out of trump. So we have no more trump to pull here. And we might not have any more here. I'm going to keep it going. Let's see. I'm going to play that queen of spades again. I know they ain't got no trump. My partner just played me. Now, they had that 10, so they beat me with the 10. All right, I'm going to cut this club. I'll take that. And then let's see. They might cut my 10 of hearts won. So that was cool. That was successful. We got all those spades out. And then we get the score. What everybody took. So I took 13 in tricks, 28 in meld. I also got the last trick, so that's a bonus 2. My partner took 10 in tricks, 20 in meld, so we got a total of 73. The other team got a total of 51. That'll get added to the score. Done. All right. And now, just for safety, plus I'm on a guest account, I'm just going to leave the table here. You should not leave Pinochle games, but I was just showing you guys that as an example. I think it's really bad taste to leave a Pinochle game. So we'll talk about that some other time. What I want to get you guys going on right now, though, is to just show you. You start here with the read, then you go to the example game, then you go to the playlist. I'm going to let the playlist start playing, and I gotta pee real quick. I will be right back. Please pay attention to this playlist. I don't expect you guys to remember all this. I genuinely don't. I'm just showing you where it is. You come into the Pinochle Lounge, you come over to the practice area, you hit the sticky note, you get to read the tutorial, you play the tutorial game, then you go to the playlist. Where's my... Corner, that's side, that's chat. Interesting. Oh, I didn't prepare myself for theater. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll let it play while I'm gone. I'll be right back, guys.
Having also, the technology that MediaTek provides.
Sorry. Capitalism! All right, let's go ahead and open the playlist. I just want to open it in a different account. That was it's not my best YouTube account. Sorry. Here, all right, click on this. There's the playlist. Oh, why does this thing do this to me? Here, just do that. Copy it. All right. Sorry, I just had to order that TV stand. Hopefully we're going to get the screen mounted, guys. I had to order a stand for the 75-inch screen.
The rules of the game. Well, there are many.
All right, here. Pause that. Boom.
Many rules of the game. The rules of the game. Well, there are many rules of the game. There is a scoring rule that says that most of the standard games are 500 points. Now, that 500 points has nothing to do with the points in spades. 500 points, you earn points for your hand, you earn points for your bid. Now, before we go any further, if we take a deck of cards and we shuffle them, and this is a deck of 80 cards, may I add, we're going to deal, now these may not come out as a perfect shuffle, but we'll certainly do our best to. If we deal these one at a time, we'll be forever in 3 Sundays trying to deal every hand out. So what they do in tournaments is that you're allowed to deal 4 or 5 at a time. It just speeds up the process. Unless you're like me and you have a hard time counting 4 cards in the deal. But we need to look at illustrative hands, because without that we're not really going to understand the basics and principles of the game. Well, we have 5 cards here, but I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I must have slipped on one, but that's okay. When we open up our hand, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21. So we'll assume that there's an odd card here, which is fine. Okay, what we want to do is identify exactly what's going on here. So we want to take our hand and we want to sort it according to the rank and order of the cards that we have. And you really have to do this for each suit. And this is the way, this is all the spades that I have, okay? You will not get anywhere in Pinochle if you don't sort your hand properly. You got 20 cards. So it'll be absolutely a very miserable time trying to track what you've got. And I prefer to alternate the suits because it just makes life easier. King, queen, and then we take the club suit. And I don't mean to spread this out too much, but 10, 10.
You're alternating suits because it makes your hand easier to see. And you don't want to renege. And reneging is a huge,
do that in your own house.
Huge penalty in Pinochle. It's when you play an illegal card.
This is the way a sorted Pinochle,
visualize
Pinochle hand should look.
So you basically never want to misplace a card. You never want to put a spade where a club belongs or the diamond where a heart belongs. So alternating suits, and by that they just mean black, red, or red, black, makes it so that it's easier to see where every card belongs. Then you can quickly double check. Now you also want to sort in order, ascending or descending. Typically we sort in descending order from left to right, aces to the left, jacks to the right. Sometimes you'll see it in reverse. But you always want to sort by suit and then by rank.
Okay? This makes it easier for you to evaluate the hand, okay? Now, we're going to get into the melding table, and we're going to get into other aspects of the game, but before you start, before you evaluate...
Now remember, this is done for you online, but it is not done for you in person. So you need to take this cue because, you know, the way I'm going to teach you guys Pinochle is to make sure it works for you in person. That's why I spend so much time on stuff like meld. I know the computer does it for you. In real life, you have to do this for yourself.
Your hand, you absolutely have to sort the hand out by suit. And if we look here, we have... a 7-card spade suit and so forth. So once you get that done, we can then go to the next section of the lecture, which has to do with the melding table, okay?
Now, you guys don't understand how serious this is. You guys know my favorite Pinochle partner is my dad. My dad's going to be in here helping me teach you guys the game and helping me relearn the higher levels of the game. And he's out at the People's Choice tonight, right? This is called the People's Choice Pinochle Lounge. That's what this is modeled after. But my dad is playing choice. He's playing Pinochle tonight at the People's Choice Lounge. He is pretty much every Monday, just like me. He'll be playing Pinochle, watching Monday Night Football. So this is what he's doing.
So this is...
They're not using an app, right? They're getting together in person, and every single hand, they've got to take their cards, sort their cards, arrange their hand, and get ready to meld.
First step.
And they have to do it quickly.
Sort the hand out, then we'll get into the bidding process.
Next
video. One thing
video.
that's very integral to the game of Pinochle is it isn't a concept, it's the rule about counters. So if we want to look at a hand, and we'll look at our illustrative hand here, I will remove the cards that are not counters. If we're looking at the spade suit, these aren't counters. That's not a counter. And these aren't counters. And this is not a counter. Now, regardless of whether you declare the hand, or your partner declares the hand, or the opponent declares the hand, these cards, when they're discarded or led, and you're winning the trick, or your partner's winning the trick, and you discard or throw this card onto your partner's trick, and we'll go into the specific play of the hand and play of the suits. That's a counter. How many counters are there? Well, we know that there's 4 aces in every suit, okay?
Okay.
So if there are 4 aces in every suit, that makes 16 aces.
16 aces.
16 points. 16 counters.
Points. Okay.
Then we have 16 kings and 16 tens.
Boom.
16 times 3 is 48. And whoever takes the last trick in the hand gets a bonus, a premium of 2 points. How critical are counters? They're very critical. In most variations of the game, you absolutely have to have 20 points in declared meld in order to be eligible to get additional points.
What does that mean? If your team does not have at least 20 in meld, you don't get to do what's called saving your meld. Saving your meld means if you don't even do that, you basically can't score for that round. All you can do is maybe play defense. So you got to have 20 in declared meld. But then you also have to have at least 20 encounters. If you don't have at least 20 encounters, automatically your meld doesn't count or you automatically get set. So now that's another aspect of paying attention to meld, because you want to pay attention to where are the counters in other people's hands. You get information about who's holding points and who's not, who's holding throw-off cards. I know if I see a guy's got queens around and double Pinochle, well, he's got at least a couple of queens and diamonds. So this guy to my left who's got this, he can afford to throw off a couple of my winners and diamonds before I'm going to force him to play a point. So this is what I mean about you're using the meld to take in all this information, and I'm kind of layering. I'm trying to help you guys see that even though what you're first getting indoctrinated into is you're just trying to learn the rules of the game, all of this stuff that you're learning becomes critical because they set the stage for the conversation. You now know there's only 48 counters in the entire game, plus the bonus 2 for getting the last hand. That bonus 2 is really important. You will see a lot of times the way I play, I will be strategic about what I do with the trump, especially the ace of trump or a high card in my hand. Why? A lot of times people are trying to set it up strategically so that they get the last trick or that they set themselves up to get the last trick. Why? Because it's an extra 2 points. And so sometimes you really need that extra 2 points to either make your bid or you need to stop the other team from getting it. The other thing is once you're aware of where your counters are and where the others are, that's the name of the game. You're trying to make sure that your points go to books that you win or your partner wins. So in other words, and this all becomes very strategic. Versus making sure your points don't end up on the other team's book. So let me give you a perfect example. Let's say the trump is spades, and my partner plays the ace of diamonds. Now, I don't have many diamonds. Let's say I only have 3 diamonds. One of my diamonds is also the ace of diamonds. Now, what I might do is when my partner plays the ace of diamonds, normally you wouldn't play that ace. You would play like a king. Let's say I have a king. The first time they play the ace, I play the king. Okay, cool. I held my ace of diamonds. But maybe the next time that they have the second ace, I might actually play my ace. Why? Because I'm worried that if I hold on to my ace, either the player to my right will play that ace and then he'll capture my ace, or that I'll wait too long to play the ace and my ace will get cut. So at some point, you make a decision to sacrifice winning a later trick to make sure that your ace gets taken by your partner and not by your opponent. Right? And so all of those decisions come into play. That's why these counters and what's not a counter and, you know, who's going to win the trick taking and what do you know your opponents have. All of this becomes incredibly important.
Counters, you are rewarded for counters that you take, but you absolutely must have 20 points in meld, and we'll cover that later. Counters, 48 counters per hand, bonus of 2 points for taking the last trick.
What does that mean? That also limits your bidding, folks. If you've got 20 in meld, right? And let's say you luck out. Let's say your partner sends you 3. So let's say your partner sends you 30. You got 20 in meld. All right, so now you're comfortable bidding 50. Okay? You've got 20, your partner's got 30, y'all got 50 meld. You also know you got to make what? You got to make 20 points every hand. So now you're comfortable maybe going up to 70. Do you know for sure you got 70? No, you don't know for sure you got 70, but you know, again, you've got about your, like I said, you've got about your 20. No, what did I say? You've got about your 30. Your partner's got their 20. So y'all are good for about 50. You got to make 20 anyway. Okay, so 70's cool. Okay, well, what about a bid of 90? Well, no, a bid of 90 would mean if you guys only have 50 meld, well, now you need 40 counters. But there's only 48 counters in the whole goddamn deck. So even assume you get the last book, y'all see what I'm saying? There's a ceiling. And you can't win every hand, right? So this is where the hands get interesting. The hands get interesting where, number one, the way a hand is, it's tough for a team to make their 20. It doesn't matter how much meld you have. You could have all the meld in the world, double run, 150 meld, boom, out the gate, right? You got a double run in your hand. Now, you're rarely going to get set with a double run, I can tell you that. But let's say, boom, double run, 150 meld points out the gate. That's a huge-ass hand for you. If we stop you from taking back 20 counters, it doesn't matter. You get set whatever you bid. This is why bidding's important, because if you got a double run in your hand, you're comfortable going up to 150, but that doesn't mean you should do it. Because if you, God forbid, you get set, you're going to lose your bid's worth of points. So even if I'm sitting on a double run, if I could take the bid for 50 or 60, I'm going to do it. Because God forbid I get set, I'm only going to lose 50 or 60. Even though I got a double run. Right? So just because you got a double run, don't go bidding over 100, because if you get set, you're going to lose that. Whereas if you take the bid for less and you make it, you'll still get those points. So all of this becomes incredibly strategic.
Those 50 counters combined with your meld bid determine whether or not you make your declared bid.
It's also why it's so much fun, because there's really offense and defense to this. Sometimes you and your partner, with a good partner, with good communication, you can really play strong defense, and you can wipe the other team's big hands off the board by setting them.
That's what we were talking about previously. So keep in mind 50 points, 48 counters, and last trick. So in order to bid beyond the 60 level, you need to have an awful lot of meld to support you, because even if you stopped at 60 and you only had 20 meld, you have to take 40 counters. So there is a relationship, and here's a score sheet,
That's the
and I'll
relationship.
just show you what I'm talking about.
That's what I was just talking about, the relationship. There's a relationship between how much meld you have, how many trick counters you can take, and what your bid can be. And the trick-taking counters, that 50 points in trick-taking, 48 pointers, and the bonus 2 for the last book, the last trick, a trick and a book are the same thing. That's a hard cap in the math.
If your side has bid 60, right, and you have 35 meld, you need 25 counters to make that bid. You absolutely have to get 25. If you don't have 25 counters, you will not make your bid. So keep in mind, the stronger the meld you have in your hand, the more room you have for bidding. For example, if we had 150 meld, we had a double run, that's a powerful hand. Now we have lots of room, because all we have to do is make our 20 meld, that's the basic requirement. We save our 20 meld. 150 points is going to pick up an awful lot of room for error if we fall short on.
Right, because think about it. Double run, right? It means I got at least 2 aces of trump, right? So I got at least 2 aces of trump. If my partner plays points on both of those, boom, that's 4 points out the gate. You got a double run. So if you play it smart and don't get your other aces pulled, your 2 10s might be good. You might get 8 points right there. If you got a couple other aces, you might be at 12, 13 points before you even pass. So that's what he means, though. But that's what he means by room. you don't come out the gate and now say, oh, I got 150 meld in my hand, I'm going to bid 150. You come out the bid and you say, we'll talk about lockout bids in a second. Normally bids under, you start with 50. 50 is the minimum. Normally bids between 50 and 60 are what we call melding bids. They're an opportunity for everybody to go take turns, soft competing for the bid, while communicating in that first round to their partner what they have. Now, bids over 60, which is what he's talking about. When you get over 60, and first off, the bidding rule changes. Between 50 and 60, you can bid increment by 1, right? So 50 to 60, you can say 1 over the next person. Somebody bids a 52, you could bid a 53. Somebody bids a 58, you could bid a 59. At 60, you got to go by 5. So that's why he's saying bidding over 60, you got to have a lot of meld, because first of all, 60 is a cap. Like 60 is real. You got 60, you got to really have some meld to hit that bid of 60. But now we're going to go up by 5. So if you want to go over by somebody who bids a 60, you got to go 65. You got to go 70. Well, why is this important? Because if I have a lot of meld, you can sometimes throw down what we call a lockout bid, which means instead of bidding 50 or even bidding in that meld passing range from 50 to 60, I'm going to come out with 60 as my initial bid. Now, why might I do that? Number one, it signals to everybody at the table, I'm serious about this hand and I want to take this bid. Don't get in here unless you really want to take this bid. So it's also what we call a lockout bid, meaning hopefully, since my opponents don't want to mess around having to risk taking this high bid, they won't pass meld to each other. So that's very strategic. If I want to say, if I've got a lot of meld in my hand and I know I can make the bid on my own, basically, I'm saying I got enough meld that I know I'm above the minimum on my own. I got a lot of meld so I can bid really high. And I know as long as we've got my meld and our 20, we're safe. I'm going to start with a higher bid. You don't go way up to fucking 100 or something crazy like that, but you start with the 60. You might even start with like a 65 if you want to really, really squeeze them hard. Now what's going to happen? Probably everybody else passes, and now your opponents don't get to signal to each other how much meld they have, so nobody challenges your bid. Now you get to hopefully take your bid at a safer level rather than say, I say something more like, 55 or 56 or whatever, which is a lot of meld, but now the person next to me's got a lot of meld, so maybe they still send their partner 20 or 30 meld, and now the person to my right has a lot of meld, so now they're going to try to shoot it up. I'm trying to block all that out. I don't want anybody talking across the table, so I'm going to try to do what's called a lockout bid. This is what I'm telling y'all. It's a conversation. The rules are basically just setting up the structure and the parameters under which the conversation can take place. But once you understand the rules, everything is it's like pro wrestling. Everything means something. Everything is about something else. Everything is a fucking signal or a code, unless it's not, right? Sometimes it's a forced play. So it's all fucking fun, man. I love this
counters,
game.
that is, if we don't have more than, if we have the minimum of counters, that's fine. We absolutely have to have 20, and that's the key number. So again, meld, bidding, and counters, very important, and you should remember those combinations. There are 3 basic groups of meld. There are runs and marriages, that's a group. There are pinocles, that's a group.
Group 2.
And there are rounds.
Group 3.
The groups are compatible with each other with the exception of the fact that you can't double claim a marriage in trump suit. So when we talk about type 3, we're talking strictly a rounds, okay?
We have again, 4 rounds is just aces in every suit, kings in every suit, queens in every suit, or jacks in every suit. And it always starts by aces are worth 10, and then you go down by 2 in descending order. Aces are 10, kings are 8, queens are 6, jacks are 4. Eventually you have the meld table memorized. It does not take long. Few games, you will have the meld table memorized, I promise you. There is no arounds for 10.
aces here, but we don't have 4 different aces, so we really, and I should put this in the order that it should appear, and it makes life a little easier. That's the way you should always sort your suits ascending to descending. It just makes it so much easier to determine count. Okay, very important. If you're going to have all the black suits together, you're going to get mixed up. You might even renege. Type 3 is arounds. Kings around, 8 points. Queens around, 6 points. Jacks around. Now, sometimes a card can do dual duty. It can be part of kings around. You see, we got king, 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 right? That's around. And it can be part of a marriage. It really doesn't matter. But you can't have a king with 2 queens. Shouldn't have that in real life either. But you can't have a king with 2 queens because he can't marry both queens. He can only marry 1 queen. So that's the restriction. But type 3, 4 different kings, 4 different aces, 4 different queens, 4 different jacks. That's all you have to know. You can learn the counts, and start to memorize those. Getting started, we will need to look at a Pinochle deck, which is 80 cards. That's a lot of cards. And we're going to show you exactly how these cards will be dealt and so forth. Pinochle, the double-deck Pinochle game that we're talking about is partnership Pinochle. The other games are good. You might like single deck. There's rules that are available on the Bicycle card game site or on any of the search engines. Firstly, you play as partners. It's the same structure as in any other partnership card game, excuse me. 1 team here, 1 team here, 1 team who plays the hand, declares the trump, will be defended or will be opposing the other team, who will do everything in their power to try to set them or at least get as many points as they can. And then we have the other situation where we have another team over here. If they're declaring the hand, then you will be trying to set them or get as many points as you can. So the basic structure: 4 players at 1 table and 20 cards. Now, if we want to look at the suits in Pinochle, and there are 4 of them, I just want you to look at this particular suit here. That's right. Okay, for the sake of looking at a fresh hand, we're going to just kind of do a quick review and then talk about the auction.
It doesn't matter. This is a great playlist.
As a matter of fact, if you have time, get a double Pinochle deck, make sure it's 80 cards, and practice dealing out hands. Practice evaluating hands, because if you're going to go play live tournaments, they're not going to let you sit and look at a table. They're not going to let you take 20 minutes to determine your meld. So you really need to know how to do that. And if you go get a chance to play online against bots, then you'll get to see. But let's look at this hand. What we want to do is sort this out.
Now, here's the thing. He's absolutely right about that. And believe it or not, I know when you're learning, you got to take things slowly. But Pinochle is a fast-paced game. So all of this has to happen. I will show you guys this, but I always tell people this is the best way to practice. You always start with easy, because this comes with recommendations. Now, what you're going to do is you can look over your hand here just like this. You can assess your meld. Here's a marriage. No run. No marriage. No marriage. No marriage. Then you have Queen of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, Queen of Spades, Jack of double Pinochle. So I have 1 marriage, double Pinochle, that's 32. Then I have aces, that's 42. And I don't have jack. So 42 is what I have in meld, right? So that's how I did that. I sat there, and then what I would do next is nothing. I would do this. Boom. Start a game. Easy. Do it all over again. 1 marriage, 2 marriage, 3 marriage, 4 marriages, no runs. So that's 8. No Pinochle, and then no aces. Kings is 8, and queens. So kings and queens is 8 and 6 is 14. So I have 14 plus my 4 marriages, which is 8. So that's 22, right? Boom. Start a game. Easy. Okay. So what am I showing you guys here? I'm showing you how to simulate what he said. Deal yourself out a deck. Do the melding, and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Sometimes you can even pass on all of this and let it get here, and now it'll show you everybody's trump. So you can get to then check out the trump, make sure you were correct. Also, make sure you can count everybody else's meld. Continue. Don't even play the hand. Start a game, easy, do it over again. This will help you literally like a drill where you can sit here for like 5 or 10 minutes and it'll actually get you a lot of good experience counting meld.
Out. Do we have any more aces? We had a nice diamond suit here. Do we have any more aces of diamonds?
Yes,
no. So
I do that drill.
We have 1 10. We have
yes,
2 kings.
I've done that drill.
We have 2 queens.
It's how I got back into it. I showed it to you because I used it. It was incredibly helpful. That app is called Pinochle Classic, and it's also featured here in the note. It's the one where it says practice here, play harder difficulties, test. It says play Pinochle Classic on easy mode, use hints to practice against bots, play harder difficulties to test your skills. That's the link right there. So it's already in here for you. I put everything in here for you. Let's go back to our video.
And we have 2 jacks. So we had 1 more ace and 10, we'd have a double run. This is a nice diamond suit. Any 7 or 8 card trump suit, well, certainly one that has at least a couple of the tops is very important. Let's look at spades. We're going to, we have the ace 10 of spades. That's it. Now we're going to, again, alternate by the colors. The importance here is to determine the value of your meld and declare it. Okay, and then we have ace, 10, 10, queen, jack, okay? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 20. Yay, we even got the count right. Okay, let me bring this down so we get a little bit better view for the...
Now, these games do it for you. But remember, this is absolutely necessary because you have to declare your meld. And, when you play real Pinochle, you have to, not declaring your meld is considered reneging, and that can cost you, I think it's like a double set. Like it's twice, it's like a double set. It's really bad. You don't ever want to do it. It's like the worst thing you can ever do. And it'll get you laughed off the table. So always declare your meld. And then there are apps that don't count your meld for you. So you got to get used to it because sometimes you'll want to hop into one of these online apps or something or get a game going, and you really need to understand how to score your own meld. It's also really essential information about your hand and other people's hands and how to play your hand and how to play other people's hands. So you just got to, kind of get with this whole meld thing.
Camera. Okay. You're sitting in a game of Pinochle. You can't take 27 years to determine what you have. Okay? You start looking at the hand. Do you have a run in diamonds? Absolutely. Ace, 10, king, queen, jack. See what I mean by arranging the hand, ascending to descending. If you just try to put all the aces together, it'll be an absolute nightmare.
If you have a run, you have to have a marriage. Once
you have aces all around.
Nope, you look for the run, then you move on.
I see an ace, an ace, an ace. Do you have kings all around? King? Nope. Because so you're not going to have anything all around because your spade suit restricts that.
Boom. See, that's the key. Remember, he said you're not going to have anything around because your spade suits restrict that. So that's what I say. The first thing you do is you look for your marriages in your runs. They're really important because that's the layout of your hand. If you have a marriage somewhere, you already know that's potentially one of your longer suits. You got to have a marriage to have a run. So if you have a run, you already know it's a longer suit. So you're looking for your marriages in your runs. You always count the marriages. You don't count the runs because the runs only count if it's trump. And you also don't have to count any of the marriages as royal marriages because, again, they will only count as royal marriages if it's trump, Royal marriages and runs are the trump that only count, royal marriages and runs are the only meld that only count if they're trump. And you don't count that when you're counting your meld, and you also don't count it initially when you're sending meld to your partner. What does that mean? If I have more or less 22 meld going across the board, but 33 meld if I send my partner, if I have run in a particular trump suit, I'm going to send my partner 20 meld, not 30. You don't send them meld that depends on a particular trump suit. Why? Because if they take the bid and they take the trump becomes a different suit, then that meld won't count. So you'll essentially be sending them false information. So you send them the minimum the minimum meld basically, and then if you take the bid and get to declare trump, or if the declarer happens to hit on one of your suits with the trump, then that extra meld will count too.
How about Pinocles? Nope, I don't see any Queen of Spades over here. Marriages? Well, you have a double marriage.
But the key to looking for rounds, the point to reinforce is the key to looking for rounds is start with the short suit. So you start by looking for runs in marriages, then you look for Pinocles. There's always Queen of Spades, Jack of Diamonds. It's only one particular combination you got to look for. Then you immediately go to your short suit. In this case, he only has an ace and a 10, so he has to look for aces around. He has a missing ace somewhere here in hearts. He doesn't have an ace of hearts. So there's no aces, and then he knows he doesn't have kings, queens, or jacks because he doesn't have a king, queen, or a jack in spades.
Diamonds, so now you not only get the 15 run, but don't forget, if you just had a diamond suit like this, you don't get the marriage because it's contained within the run, but you have a bonus marriage, so you have 19. Right. 15 and 4 is 19.
15 and 4.
And here's a marriage in hearts for 21. So you have 21 meld in your hand. That's the bare basic requirement for declaring meld. So you feel pretty good, because if you say had only 15, you're hoping that your partner is going to produce 6. So what you're going to do here is, if you obviously will have the opportunity to bid this hand, and you're going to...
And this is going to happen to you a lot, folks, a lot. You're going to have 15, 16 meld. You're going to want to get into the bid game, especially if you have a nice trump suit, and you're hoping your partner's got something in meld. Normally your partner's got something, but every once in a while they don't have anything, and then you might not even get to play the hand because you might not have 20 in meld. So sometimes if I've got like 17 in meld, but a really strong trump suit, I'm going to go ahead and try to get in there, because I'm hoping if my partner's got at least jacks or a couple of marriages or at least a single pinochle, right? And if they've got that, then we've got our 20. Then we can go ahead and maybe save. We can take this bit, and that becomes important, especially in a close game or late in the game when you could potentially go out and you've got to try to take this bid. Now, of course, if you don't have that much meld and you don't know what your partner's got, and sometimes you need to just bid to stay in there, and then hopefully they send you some meld. Now, if you stay in there and they don't send you any meld, now you're real tight, especially if the other team starts to really stay in that bid. But, this all becomes strategy, man. So, yeah, sometimes in this situation, you want to try to stay in there. Hopefully your partner sends you some meld. Okay, now you're comfortable trying to really take the bid.
To be declaring the meld. If you were declaring meld, you'd wait for your partner as well. You have 21, and you obviously have the opportunity. Now, the dealing is the bid traditionally is to the left of the dealer. So this person will make a bid, this person will make a bid, and so forth. Your partner's job is to try to give you, and we're going to tell you about the bidding system a little bit later on. This is declaration of meld. You can clearly see you have 21 in meld, okay? Now, just for
that's if
sake of
diamonds is trump.
Pinochle has its own glossary of terms. Some of the terms are indigenous to almost any other card game. We certainly talk about deals. We talk about cutting the hand. We talk about the auction or the bidding. We talk about I got them in the best order, low cards, aces, and so forth. But there are some terms that are unique to Pinochle. For example, the term marriage, and we'll cover that later on as well. A marriage is a king and a queen of any particular suit, whether it's trump suit or whether it's an offsuit. In order to have a marriage in a suit, you have to have a king and a queen. A pinochle. A pinochle is the holding of the jack of diamonds and the queen of spades in the same hand. Now that's an interesting combination because the jack of diamonds and the queen of spades are very important cards in the game of hearts, particularly the queen of spades. So is there a relationship between the two? I don't know. We have terms like roundhouse, which is a marriage in all four suits, king, queen, king, queen, king, queen. We have terms like climbing, which is having to go up on suits. We have terms like aces all around and kings all around, and we'll go through that as well. So the terminology to Pinochle
must-head trick is what that crawling or climbing is. And yeah, it's an interesting game because it has its own unique terminology, and then, like I said, the cards themselves, the playing of the cards, the bidding, it's all a conversation. And that's what we'll be talking about. I want you guys to familiarize yourself with the rules, kind of trust me on that, get some computer games under your belt so that you can keep up, so that you can play, because part of the rules of the game is you got to play on time. And what I mean by that is you got to be able to get your hand dealt to you, sort your hand, count your meld, decide your bid in, say, 30 seconds or less. And then each time your turn comes, you want to, in your head, basically think about, you've got about 7 seconds to play a card. Pinocle's a fast-paced game. So if you're at that point where you're like, oh, I kind of get it or whatever, cool. You just need to drill more until you get the pace down and until you can feel like you can think through the game at that pace. Then that's when we start to talk about the conversation and what's going on at a higher level so that you can start to really play with your partner.
Is unique in some ways and is universal to other card games as well. Scoring systems in Pinochle. There are actually two primary ways that scoring is accomplished in the game. It doesn't matter which one as long as you know what scoring system is going to be employed. Progressive scoring. Progressive scoring combines the add-on feature and the use of not having the subtraction option, but having the add-on feature. Let's look for an example. Supposing that the opponents have bid 65, okay, and they do have the required 20 meld, and let's just say that we happen to have 22 meld, which is very important, okay. Let us suppose that they only had 30 meld. Okay, this is 30 meld right here. Now, they obviously have to pull the difference between 30 meld and 65. They have to pull 35 counters. Again, here's the relationship between this and this. They have 30 meld. They have bid 65. They need 35 counters. 35 out of a possible 50 points available in the play of the hand.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
If they fall short, they don't get that 35, right? Then they have lost their bid. And their bid goes over to our score. Now, if they only pulled, say, 30 counters, then we would have pulled the other 20, and we add that on to our meld, so we're picking up 42 there, plus their 65. That's a big haul for us, isn't it?
Yeah, so momentum change. All right, cool. That's the end of that playlist, guys. That's it. And then what do? Now you go into a Pinochle Classic or something like that. Let's look at the note. Let's look at what's next here, right? So we started here. We read that. Then we did the tutorial game. Then we went through the playlist. And now we just do here. We do Pinochle Classic. That's the app here. All right, it says right there. Play Pinochle Classic on easy mode to practice with bots. Play harder difficulties, test your skills. Now what happens is here, you go in, you start a game, you start with easy. Here's what happens. It's really great. you do what I said. You do this. You learn how to do your bidding. It's free, right? So you go through, you do your meld. Okay. It even has the analyze feature. It'll analyze your hand, give you some suggested bidding. All right, so, okay, let's say we're going to do that. All right, so you go in, you bid, okay, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? You bid, boom, boom, boom. All right, you pass, boom, 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 boom. Blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. So now what's cool about this? It takes that. Oh, God, I hate these rules. These are not the house rules. So normally, settings, the passing cards amount should be set to none. Normally it is. All right. You have to restart that. All right. So let's just say you pass. You do this. You should change that passing cards rule because that's just like the house rules. All right. So it shows you everybody's trump. Then you go. Shows you everybody's meld. Then when you go around, here's what's cool about this game, guys. Not only does it give you that, it gives you hints. Look, it's going to tell you every single time which card it thinks you should play. So this is really helpful because as you're learning, like for instance, I think since this person just led with this ace of diamonds, I should play the jack of diamonds because it's my opponent's going to win. And so I want to play the non-point jack of diamonds here. And now I can check, right? I'm going to guess that it's the jack of diamonds. And look, it's the jack of diamonds, right? And this is how you use. Now, sometimes it's going to be a judgment call. Once in a while, you'll get wrong. But you should get to the point where you know exactly what it's going to tell you to do, right? Again, I've got to beat this 10 of diamonds. I have the ace, so that's a forced play. There's only one card I can play there. All right, now it should tell me to play one of my winners. So it's either going to be the ace of clubs or the ace of spades. I'm going to guess probably the ace of spades. All right, boom. It normally plays off the longer suits. So now it'll be the ace of clubs. There it is. Okay. Now it's going to say to try to get my partner in. Might be the queen of diamonds, but if not, it'll be another suit. Boom, we'll see. Yep, it's not going to tell me to pull trump, so it's going to say, come in, play the jack of hearts. Now, I don't really like this play because a more advanced play, right? Here's why. The jack of hearts, this person, let's say they have an ace or something, but they also have a king and a 10. I want to force them to get in. And they might not feel forced to get in if there isn't a point forced into the hand, right? So if I play a jack, they could play a queen or whatever, and then they could see, and this will be a low stakes book. So I'm going to instead play a queen of hearts. Right now, that forced that ace out of their hands. Because they had to beat it with a card that's worth a point. So anyway, whatever. But my point is, you get the hints, right? Again, so here's what they did. They played that, and then they did what? They came with that jack. Why? They're trying to find their partner. So they played that jack. Now their partner that they got around, their partner played that king, and I can't beat that king actually. But it's going to tell me to play the king. Why? Because I'm going to lose this to Davina. A king would give them a point, right? It's better to play the queen, which is a non-point. So I'm going to guess the queen of diamonds. It's going to hit the hint. Boom, queen of diamonds. So that's what I'm showing you. That makes it easy to learn at your own pace. You can sit here as long as you want. You could take a bid as long as you want. You can go take a piss if you want. Do whatever you want. It's a really fun, easy way to learn, and you can increase in difficulties. Then eventually you can go to something like Trickster Cards, which is the official thing, and you can start to play by the house rules. Or you can do what I'm going to be doing today, too, which is going to World of Cards, and you can actually play Double Deck Pinochle online at World of Cards. Just go there, but don't go to the tutorial, basically. All right. Did y'all hear that noise? I don't know if that was a noise, and I guess it closed the door closing noise when I left. That noise was utterly terrifying. Holy shit, that noise was awful. All right, cool. So that's it. Those are the rules. Come here, read the note. I'm actually going to come in here and get busy and play. And we're also, it's time to get ready for Monday Night Football. So that was our tutorial for the night. It's time to get to Monday Night Football. So I'm going to call it so I can go in here and pull up the game and everything and get ready. We'll be in here at the Pinochle Lounge. I'm going to move over to the bar. Come and watch the game with us. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate everybody. In the name of the Darwin, the Dawkins, and the Christopher Hitchens. Science bless you all. Poof!
Yeah. She be getting her hair done Tuesday. Where you going? Feet up, relaxing, sipping that Douce. If this was 2K shit, I could hit you on my two-way, or I could try to make you my new babe. I laid the dick down proper, it's a new day. Who ordered expensive lobster and souffle? Now that'll be me. Had to pull up in that CP3. Now do you love me, Lil' Key? Shot-town to New Jersey, we gon' pull up. Hell yeah, I got the hook up. Anytime that you need me, we gon' pull up. Damn right, I got the hook up. And saying you gotta act brand new. Nah, I can't stand you. Had to bring you round just to show what the fam do. No texts, no calls, no reasons to be involved. Young John Wall taking what's give it and get it off. Come on.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
When
about
you
it.
playing, no, I had to shout it. Days I'm in the hood like what it is. I might just slide up on you like what up, bitch. Cause you know I like to play with you. Come spend the day with you, come kick it, seeing what it do. You feeling comfortable, I make the move. But now it's different though, I guess it's cool. You wasn't shy about my love, remember after school days when I picked you up. So now you fucked around and changed, almost messed it up. See, I ain't changed, baby, trying to catch a plane with you. Came back around to show you that I'm made for you. And here you go with the same old song on your weekend shit. I might just wish I never met her like Carl Thomas, but I ain't tripping no. Stay up on the grind, we gon' get some dough. And you got that good ass brain, I had to let you know. I really wanna let you know. Tell me where you wanna go and what you wanna know. Whoa. What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners? No disrespect about me.
No disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
When
about
you
it.
playing, no, I had to shout it.
Playing, no, I had to doubt it.
Come on.